Good morning, students. My name is Dr. B. Suresh Babu, working as professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. As a part of online classes, I am teaching for third year mechanical first sem students. In that one, in Unit 3, for today's topic is design of flywheel. I repeat once again that today's topic is design of flywheel. What is the aim of this flywheel, or what is the aim of this today's topic? Flywheel aim is, or flywheel design aim is to absorb the energy when excess energy is produced, and at the same time to supply the energy when it is in need. So that is the function of a flywheel. First it will do. If you observe the flywheel, flywheel is used for IC engines, and it will be used for big machines where there is a fluctuation of energy is possible. For reciprocating engines also it will use, for centrifugal engines also you can use, for pumps we can use. So what is a flywheel? If you observe this definition, flywheel is a heavy rotating body that acts as a reservoir of energy. Energy is stored in the form of a kinetic energy. So flywheel is extensively used in applications like punching press. Power is, that means power is supplied at constant rate, and IC engines, power is generated at a variable rate. So today's concept is to design a flywheel. So this is the function of the definition of this flywheel. Next, if you observe, what are the functions of a flywheel? To store and release energy when needed during the work cycle. Already I told this one. So flywheel absorbs the energy when excess energy is produced, and at the same time it is going to be release the energy when there is a need. To reduce the power capacity of electric motor, to reduce the amplitude of speed fluctuations. So these are the basic three functions we are going to. Physically appearance, it is a huge mass of design with a circular appearance. So this is how the flywheel. If you observe flywheel, flywheel is going to have a the following parts. Rim is there, hole is there, hub is there, and web is there. Flywheel with web. So here we are going to have a web is there. Some other flywheels are there. Flywheel with arms. So if you observe this one, this is the hub, and this is going to be the rim. Already we can able to visualize, and these are going to be the arms. Instead of arms, we are going to have a web here, and holes are going to present. These are also holes of, not hole, we can say it is a trapezoidal cross section area where material is removed here. This is going to be also web. So construction of the flywheel looks like this. In this one, what we will design? We will design first density of the metal we are going to choose. That means through which material we are going to prepare this flywheel. That is fixed. Then what you have to do? We have to go for the dimensions of this flywheel. Dimensions of the flywheel in the sense, it have a thickness will be there, it have a diameter will be there. So thickness and diameter are going to the variable. At the same time, breadth is also be considered. That means if you take a ring, ring contains what? Ring contains a circular diameter, ring contains a thickness, ring contains width. So these three parameters we have to find for this flywheel. How to find this flywheel? For that purpose, as per the concept is observed, this flywheel is connected to an IC engine, and flywheel is connected to a reciprocating engine. A flywheel is connected to a centrifugal engine. Or flywheel is manually, it can also be rotated. So the power of that engine we are going to calculate, and then in turn we are going to use those power for designing this flywheel. I repeat once again, First, we are going to convert the given engine parameters into a power, and that for power only we are going to design this flywheel. So this is the aim of the class is to design a flywheel. The parameters are thickness, breadth we are going to design. Next, this is the procedure for design of a flywheel. So first we have to construct an indicator diagram on the drawing sheet. Already I have given how to draw turning movement diagram. So turning movement diagram is also be called as indicator diagram. So turning movement diagram contains energy absorbed values and energy supplied values. That is torque we are going to get in a turning movement diagram. Next, with respect to torque on y-axis, and we are going to take crank angle at the x-axis. So crank angle on the x-axis and turning movement torque on the y-axis. So by combining these two with appropriate scale, we are going to draw the turning movement diagram. By turning movement diagram is drawn for energy absorbed and energy released for a particular degree of rotation of the crank. If you observe, calculate the scale factors for pressure axis and displacement axis. Consider the given maximum pressure and the stroke of the engine. So title is calculate the scale factors of pressure axis and displacement axis. Pressure axis means if you take a IC engine with high pressure, crank is going to be rotated and displacement will be of the piston. Like that, torque we are going to here and we are going to use pressure. So that means torque is displacement and rotation of the angle is with pressure axis. Consider the given maximum pressure and the stroke of the engine. What is the pressure developed for a single stroke? That is basically we are going to have how many strokes will be there. Section stroke will be there, compression stroke will be there, power stroke will be there, and exhaust stroke will be there. Power stroke will also be called as a expansion stroke. I repeat once again, in IC engine section will be there, compression will be there, expansion will be there, exhaust will be there. So expansion stroke is going to be the power stroke. The same power stroke should be useful for remaining three strokes. So draw the configuration diagram to obtain H at each crank position. H in the means displacement axis, that is displacement of the piston has to be considered here for each crank position, that is from 0 to 360 degrees we have to write it. For a two-stroke engine, another 360 we have to consider. Tabulate the pressure and the value of H at each crank position. So tabulate the values, pressure and the value H at each crank position. Tabulate the gas torque, inertia torque and the total torque at each crank position. Tabulate the gas torque, inertia torque and total torque at each crank position. Draw the turning movement diagram and the mean torque line. So after calculating how to draw turning movement diagram, already I told you have to take the values torque on y-axis, on x-axis, crank angle. Next, calculate the maximum fluctuation of energy. And using that fluctuation of energy, you can calculate thickness and breadth is calculated for a flywheel. So this is a theoretical procedure. Now I am going to explain slide by slide how we have to draw this find out this parameters of this flywheel from the given data. So if you observe torque analysis, a flywheel mounted on relatively stiff shaft is shown. When the flywheel absorbs energy, its speed increases and vice versa. That means if it gives energy, it is going to decrease its speeds. When it is going to absorb the energy, it is going to increase the speed. This reduces speed fluctuations. Considering the equilibrium of torques, I is equal to dw by dt, that means angular speed with respect to differentiation. So Ti minus T0, initial minus output, input minus output. Next. So this is how I is equal to dw by dt is the input value, the output value. That means from here it is connected to a IC engine and we are going to take the output. So this I is equal to w by dt. So this is how we can able to first understand how the things will happen for this flywheel. Imagine this is the flywheel. So the flywheel rotated with help of a input torque. It is going to give an output torque. So if you observe the parameters or what we can say notations, I is equal to mass moment of inertia of the flywheel kg per meter square. Ti is equal to driving or input torque. T0 is equal to load of output torque. W is equal to angular velocity of the shafts. When Ta minus T0 is positive, then the flywheel is accelerated. When Ta minus T0 is negative, then the flywheel is retarded. That means when energy is absorbing, it is going to be increase here. When energy is going to give, it is going to decrease its speed. That's why in energy absorbing, flywheel increases its speed. So Ta minus T0. When energy is releasing means it is going to decrease its speed. You have to remember these 2 points, very important students. Next, what is coefficient of fluctuation of energy? Already I explained this topic in the previous class. It is defined as the ratio of maximum fluctuation of speed to the mean speed. What is that means maximum minus minimum speed divided by mean speed means maximum plus minimum by 2 is going to be called as the mean speed. That is called as the fluctuation of energy. That means the difference of maximum fluctuation of speed to the mean speed is called as a coefficient of fluctuation of speed. So if you observe, that can be denoted by omega max minus omega mean by W. W, that means mean angular velocity is given by omega is equal to omega max plus omega mean by 2. Similarly, if it is a speed, the same parameters can be written, that is n max minus n min by n, where n is equal to speed of that one, w is angular velocity, n is the speed, n max plus n minimum by 2. Cs is equal to, in turn we can written 2 into w max minus w minimum by omega max minus omega. This is not w, this is omega, that is angular velocity. N is the speed of the flywheel. So coefficient of fluctuation Cs is equal to 2 into n max minus n minimum by n max plus n minimum. So the reciprocal of coefficient of fluctuation of speed is going to be called as coefficient of steadiness. It is noted by letter m. So m is equal to 1 by Cs. So how to calculate this coefficient of fluctuation of speed we will discuss. For that one we need minimum speed, maximum speed, and average of that one is going to be called as the coefficient of fluctuation of speed. Reciprocal of that coefficient of fluctuation of speed is called as a steadiness. Imagine this is the crank angle from 0 to 360 degrees and we have A1, that is torque turning moment diagram. Here A1 is there, here is decreased, torque decreased here, torque increased. Increasing means absorbing and decreasing of the speed means energy decreasing. Like this they have taken 6 conditions at A, B, C, D, E, F and G. A is the starting and once again it reaches to A condition. So this is going to be called as a mean torque line. On y-axis turning moment they have taken, as already I told. On x-axis we have taken crank angle. So turning moment diagram of a multi-cylinder engine is shown above. The intercepted areas between the torques developed by the engine and the mean torque line is taken in order from the 1 and R. So A1, A2, A3, A4, A6. So if you observe that one, these are the A1. So how many types of one, two, total six are there. So let the energy of the flywheel at A is equal to U. That means at the beginning it is equal. When energy is supplied by the external forces to the flywheel, energy at B means it gained the energy. That means initial plus this one. At C means initial plus difference A2. Like that, energy at D is A1 minus A2 plus A3. Energy at E is A1 U plus A1 plus A2 plus A3 minus A4. Energy at F is U1 plus A1 minus A2 plus A3 minus A4 minus A5. So ultimately, energy at G is U plus A1 plus A minus A2 plus A3 minus A4 minus A5 A6 is equal to U. So ultimately, after absorbing energy and gaining energy, has reached the end position, which is equal to energy present in the flywheel. Now, maximum and minimum energy occurs at E and B. How you will know? Because as per the things are concerned, if you go to the diagram, if numerical values are given, you can easily understand here at a particular points of this value. It may be the here, may be here, or it may be here. These are all are the maximum energy points. These are going to be the minimum energy points. So add sum of all and sum of minimum energies. Thereby we can able to get U value. So maximum energy of the flywheel is A1 plus A2 plus A3 minus A4. Minimum energy is U plus A1. So UE minus UB is equal to, so maximum fluctuation of energy U0 is defined as difference between the maximum kinetic energy and minimum kinetic energy of the cycle. So UE minus UB, U plus A1 minus U A1 A2 plus A3 plus A4. Thereby we are going to get this one. Next, coefficient of fluctuation of energy, CE. That is, what is the definition? Is defined as the maximum fluctuation of energy of the work done per cycle. Per cycle, already I have defined this definition in the previous classes. It is in important terms of this concept. Is defined as a maximum fluctuation of energy to the work done per cycle. It is denoted by CE. Maximum fluctuation of energy is U0. That means UI minus UE minus UB is going to be called as a U0. So thereby work done per cycle is how many? 360 degrees. It has to be complete. So area below mean torque line from 0 to 360 degrees. Work done per cycle 2 pi Tm for 2-stroke engine, and work done per cycle is 4 pi Tm for 4-stroke engine. You have to remember that. That means for a 4-stroke engine, 760 degrees, 360 plus 360, 720 degrees we have to complete the total work done. In 2-stroke, it has to be complete for single rotation, that is 360 degrees only. Remember this one, work done per cycle for 2-stroke engine is 360 degrees. Crank angle is 360. With respect to torque, we have to plot it. If we take a 4-stroke engine, 720 plus 720 on x-axis and y-axis torque we have to plot. Let us have this one. There are two types of flywheels will be there. One is rim type flywheel. Second one is solid disc flywheel. A simple type of flywheel is a solid circular disc. The mass moment of inertia of the disc is given by I is equal to mr square by 2, where I is equal to mass moment of inertia of the disc, m is the mass of disc, r is the outer radius of disc. The mass of the disc is given by pi r square, that means circumference, that is 2 pi r. Area we are going to get pi r square into thickness into density of the material. So mass depends upon the area, thickness and density of the material. T is the thickness of the disc. P, that means rho is equal to mass density of flywheel material kg per meter square. From A and B, I is equal to pi by 2 rho t r to the power of 4. So if moment of inertia has to be calculated means, if you know density and radius of the flywheel, thickness of the material, we can calculate I. If I is known and density is known, R is given, radius is measured, then thickness can be found. So this is the one formula which is useful to calculate the thickness. So once again, this is how the cross section of the solid disc will be. Thickness is there, radius is there, angular velocity is there, and sigma t, that is called stresses acting on the wheel, is there. So removed flywheel. If you observe removed flywheel, hub is there here, hub is there. These are going to be called arm. This is going to be called as the rim, and this is going to be the thickness we are going to present, and breadth is also present here. Parameters are A1, B1. So all these are represented in the side view. We can observe here. B is breadth is there. Outside diameter is there. Inside diameter is there. Here keyway is there. D1 is equal to D. Try to understand here. Construct a removed flywheel. There may be number of rings. One inner hub will be there. One outer ring will be there. Arms may be 4 to 6. Arms possess elliptical cross section or increased stress absorption, while the rim has rectangular cross section. It is difficult to determine the mass moment of inertia of a removed flywheel due to its complicated shape. For a disc, we can easily return. For this one, it is difficult to do that one. So design of a removed flywheel. Analysis of the flywheel is made by using any one of the following assumptions. The spokes, the hub, and the shaft do not contribute any moment of inertia. Entire moment of inertia is due to the rim only. That means hub, spokes, and shaft does not include it. While designing the flywheel concept, only rim diameter is going to be considered. The effect of the shaft, hub, spokes is to be contribute 10%, while the arm contributes 90% of the required moment of inertia. Already we have listened about disc type. This is about rim type. In rim type, we have to consider only 90%. We have to exclude spokes, hub, and shaft like that. So if you observe the mass moment of inertia of the rim is given by IR is equal to C into I. IR is equal to mass moment of inertia of the rim about its axis of rotation. C is factor of mass moment of inertia, 1 for assumption, 0.9 for assumption 2. Mass moment of inertia of the flywheel is removed flywheel, I is. So B and T. So B and T you have to calculate width and thickness of the rim. D is mean diameter of flywheel. R by Rm is mean radius of flywheel. Rho is density of the flywheel material. A1 comma B1 is elliptical dimensions. Mr is mass of the rim of flywheel. Kr is radius of gyration of the rim of about its axis of rotation. See, once again, see this one. These are the notation only. Already have represented in the diagram. The mass moment of inertia of the rim is given by, everyone know inertia is equal to mass into kr square, where k is equal to radius of gyration. So kr is equal to rm value. So ir is equal to mr into rm square. So mass of rim is given by, already I told, volume of the rim into mass density. That is frontal circular surface area into width. Surface area in means 2 pi r will include circumference, r is the radius, and t is the thickness, b is the breadth, and rho is the density of the material. Hence IR is given as, IR is equal to substitute MR value in this IR value, 2 pi RM cube by TPQ. So by calculating moment of inertia, radius, density of the material, if thickness is known, breadth can be calculated. If breadth is known, thickness can be calculated. So if you observe the stresses, already I told you have to calculate fluctuation of energy, maximum energy minus minimum energy. How many types of energies that will act on the flywheel? You calculate that one. Tensile stress to centrifugal force, tensile bending stresses caused by the strain of the arms, the shrinkage stresses due to the unequal rates of the cooling of casting. It is taken care of by a factor of safety. So what are those one? Centrifugal forces and bending stresses. This is going to be another factor that is not included for design of this one. So tensile stresses includes B, width of the rim, T, thickness of rim, a cross-section area of rim, that is B into T, D is mean diameter of flywheel, R is mean radius of flywheel, density of flywheel material, angular velocity of the flywheel, linear velocity of the flywheel, sigma T is tensile or hoop stress. Consider a small elemental area of the rim as shown in figure B, that be substance and angle delta theta, the center of the flywheel. Volume of the small element is area into R, that is thickness into delta V. Mass of the small element dm is equal to volume into density, AR into delta, so is the density of the material. So once again we'll go into AR into delta V. The centrifugal force is equal to half mv square. So if you have, that is kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. If you calculate that one, that means the forces that are going to be act away from that one is going to be called as a centrifugal force. If you observe this one, centrifugal force is mass into angular speed into radius. If you observe small dm, is replaced with this one, that is rho into A into R into delta V into omega square into R. So if you rewrite that one, we are going to get density into A into R square into omega square into this. Next, vertical component of dF is equal to dF into sine theta. Once again, you can write rho into A into R square omega square delta V into sine V. By integrating the vertical thrusting force across the rim diameter, these are the constant values. So sine theta, then we are going to obtain 2 into density into A into R square into omega square. The vertical forces is resisted by a force of 2p. So 2p into 2 into sigma t into A. From 1 and 2 equations, 2 density A R square into omega square is equal to 2 sigma t into A. Sigma t is equal to rho into R square into omega, that is rho V square. It is the tensile stresses due to centrifugal force. So thereby what we can, RS can be calculated. So this is a diagram. If you observe this one, tensile bending stresses caused by the strain of the arms. T is there, D is there. These are the parameters of the flywheel and radius is there. L is equal to pi d by n. R is the radius. So tensile bending stress in the rim due to the restraint of the arms is based on the assumption that each portion of the rim between a pair of arms behaves like a beam fixed at both ends and uniformly loaded as shown in figure above, such that length between the fixed ends is given. L is equal to pi d by n. D is the diameter, n is the number of ends that is going to be supported. If you observe that one, here we can able to observe number of arms that is going to present here. So that is the supporting arms. that is equal to 2 pi r by n, where n is the number of arms. UDL means uniform distributed load per meter length. That is centrifugal force between the pair of arms. That is W is equal to B into T into density into omega square into R. Maximum bending moment is given by M is equal to W into L square by 12. M is equal to BT rho into omega square into R. So this is a mathematical relation once again that we can obtain by, because if substitute W value here, we are going to get 2 pi r square by n into flower bracket square. All of you observe this slide once again, students. Substituted the centrifugal W value in this moment, maximum bending moment. So tensile stresses due to the force acting on the rim. The centrifugal force acting on the rim, the arms will be subjected to direct tensile stresses, whose magnitude is same as discussed in the previous article. So tensile stresses is stress is equal to force by area based upon that relation. So 3 by 4 into density into V square. Bending stresses due to the torque transmitted from the rim to the shaft, vice versa, the arms will be subject to bending. In order to find out the maximum bending moment on the arms, it may be assumed as a cantilever beam fixed at the hub and carrying concentrated load, and the free end of the rim is shown. M is maximum torque transmitted by the shaft. R is mean radius of the rim. Small r is radius of the hub. N is the number of arms. That is the cross-section modulus for the cross-section. Already in the previous case, you have solved this type of problem, which is for a cantilever case. That is fixed case. Load on the mean radius of the rim is F is equal to mt by r. Load on each arm is mt by r into number of arms that is connected. Maximum bending moment on the arm at the hub is M is equal to mt by r dot n into r minus r. Bending stress in the arms is M by Z, mt by rn by Z. So tensile stress in the arms is equal to sigma T1 plus sigma B1. So one is about the rim, second one is about the arm. We have calculated. If you observe that one, sigma T1 is going to be 3 by 4 into sigma T. So by knowing the relation, sigma tensile stress is equal to force by area. So force can be calculated, and area is nothing but B into T. And if you take volume, that is area into T. So stress can be calculated means you can easily find the dimensions of this one. So by this, this is the velocity of the piston. That means for the same value, how we are going to calculate, I have given. Already this concept is already explained in the previous one. So by using this relation, you have calculated V into R omega. As you have taken IC engine, you have to use this one relation. So by this, I have completed a design of the flywheel. Design of the flywheel includes calculation of fluctuation of energy. First one, before closing this one, I wanted quotient of fluctuation, steadiness, maximum fluctuation of energy. So maximum fluctuation of energy is maximum energy work done per cycle. Quotient of fluctuation of energy means maximum energy minus minimum energy by mean energy. Reciprocal of quotient of fluctuation energy is called steadiness. So by using centrifugal concept, we can able to centrifugal force, we can able to calculate this fluctuation of energy, and thereby we can able to calculate the dimensions of this flywheel. What is the flywheel purpose? To absorb the energy, to deliver the energy. To absorb the energy when excess energy is produced by the IC engine, to deliver the energy when there is a need in energy. So by this I have completed design of this flywheel. We will solve one or two problems based upon this concept so that we can understand better. In the next class, we will solve, students. For detailed notes, it is available in Google Classroom code 4FW5XCK. All are small letters. You can mail if doubts are there. cheer5@rediffmail.com. Take care. Thank you, students. Bye.